All right, set the example. Set the example. If you are in a leadership position, the team is watching you. Your people are watching your attitude, they're watching your behavior, and they don't miss a thing. If you are late for a meeting, they notice it. If you roll your eyes, they notice it. If you yawn, they're watching and are thinking you are tired or bored or both. The team members are watching everything, and on top of that, they will imitate what they see. If you are late, they will be late too. If you dress like a slob, they will dress that same way. If you break the rules, they will also break the rules. So if you have to behave correctly at all times, you have to be the ideal. They will also consciously or unconsciously mimic your emotions. If you stay calm, so will they. If you panic, they will panic as well. If you have a negative attitude, their attitudes will also turn negative. However, if you have a positive attitude, so will they. If you treat people with respect, remain humble, and act professionally, then your team, for the most part, will do the same.
Perfect. So basically, when I first read this, it talks about kind of how it's basically, he's talking about like the cause and effect, basically, right? If you give out something, that's what you'll return. So that's what he's basically saying about the emotions. So, especially if you're a leader, if you're, of course, we're all human beings, right? We get stressed and we have our very high moments, our low moments, but, sometimes it's hard to really control them, especially if you're really down. And then when you're saying something to someone, sometimes your emotions can get mixed in. Like if Jojo, if you said to me like, "Oh, hey, Kellen, if I asked you to do something, if I'm mad about something that happened at home, I'd be like, oh, Jojo, can you just do the thing like now? Like, you know what I mean? The attitude, and then you'll take it as, oh, he's very upset. So, kind of going off of that, can this is like the first question. Can you explain a time where a leader's emotion or attitude affected a team positively or negatively? So it could be either one. Again, the question is, can you explain a time where a leader's emotions or attitude affected a team positively or negatively? So it doesn't have to be negative; it can be positive too. Because that also, if someone is leading and they have a bright attitude about whatever, especially when things are really bad. It's kind of reassuring to have someone that's like, like, hey, it's okay, you guys. Let's just move forward with it, and so yeah.
Oh, two mics, two mics. No, I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
louder.
Not that I need to be any louder. One example that I can think of, or a person per se, is Justin.
Yeah,
He's really like, I admire him, and I look up to him.
yeah,
Like, no matter what trials he's going through in his personal life, or even with the gym,
yeah.
he is so good at keeping his composure. I'm like, bruh, I try my best, but I'm emotional.
Oh, same. Yeah,
I'm emotional. I'm the person that's like, I just need to be dramatic, and then I'm okay with everything.
I remember that conversation. I think I forgot when it was. I don't know if it was a team huddle or something, but you said like, yeah, you have to let it out first, and then you're fine afterwards.
But trial and error with me, I was in a position in management, and it bit me in the butt because there were times where I wasn't a good manager, and I let my emotions get the best of me, and I took it out on my employees, and then they retaliated, and I'm like, what the F? But then, my upper management sat me down. They're like, Alana, like, you just gotta bite the bullet, and if you're gonna be in a leadership role, like, be the person that you're trying to look up to. I'm like, okay. But they put it in that way, and I was like, I guess so. I did sign up for this. But yeah, back to Justin. I really admire how, because after, like, behind closed doors, he trusts certain individuals. He basically trusts a lot of us, but um, there are moments where we share some intimate conversations. Like, I'll talk about my personal life, he'll talk about his personal life. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're going through that many things, and that's why I get very like defensive when people like attack him or like talk badly about him. I'm like, you don't even know.
Yeah.
But he does a very good, and it's not him being fake, because a lot of times people confuse that of him like hiding um the BS. Let's just say it's nobody else's business to know his BS, you know?
Yeah.
And that's okay. And I have to learn that. I am learning that, and I'm trying to apply it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what you said was very relatable because like sometimes like especially and you know Justin and you know other you know respected leaders you know like for me with Justin like whenever I would be like if I'm ever down in the dumps or if you know something's not you know if I don't have my mojo going right you know he'll notice it and then
Oh, he's very keen on that.
yeah so he'll call me and he'll be like hey Kellen how you been doing I'm like I'm like half asleep yeah just like woke up or something oh yeah I'm okay Just yeah what's up man and he's like no just checking in on you that's it checking in on you that's a lot of people if you think about it a lot of bosses don't do
Oh
that
yeah.
check in on you. You know what I mean? So when he did that, I'm like, oh, thanks, Joss. You know, I feel a lot better. Right, man. See you tomorrow, 6:30 a.m. And then tear coming out, 6:30 a.m. in the morning. But yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. The setting the example, you know, yeah. Any other
Could you repeat the question, John?
Yeah, the question was, can you explain a time where a leader's emotion or attitudes affected a team positively or negatively? So again, emotion, attitudes of a leader, how did it affect um, the team positively or negatively? Or it could just, you know, be you,
Like an individual.
it could be your personal
I
experience.
think
too.
like when I first started getting into like martial arts and like I met Justin and then when we did MMA, he was part of the reason I'd say like installing the belief of stepping in the cage, stepping on the mat.
Mm.
I think, you know, as a leader, I think having the ability to put belief in people is really, really like important because sometimes we as people we doubt ourselves. Like you guys know me before I was fighting, I was like, oh, I'm scared. I want to pull out, or even like Nagas, like, oh, I'm done. I don't want to compete no more. Like just stuff like that. Like leaders have the ability to like install belief in people, and like having that as an example is like really helpful. I think, especially for me, like having a lot of mental conflict. I think.
That can go both ways.
Yeah.
Because you can have a really good leader that'll instill positivity in you and be like, you got this. And then you'll have managers who be like, what the F are you doing?
Yeah.
You can't even do it right. I'm like, I'm trying.
That's true.
There's
So
also
I can go both ways.
there's also in the competition aspect. There's also the fear factor, right? It's
Yeah.
like, you better get them. Don't you dare tap.
Pressure.
Don't you dare tap.
Pressure.
Oh, wait. You know, not that I've experienced it, but you know, like thinking about different scenarios.
That one comes to my mind. I think first is having a good leader install belief in you. That's a really good example. I think.
Right.
But I think just the fact too that like he's doing hard things himself too.
Yeah.
Like in that sense, like he's definitely setting the example of, you know, doing things that are not necessarily going against the grain, but like rocking the boat a little bit, but for in a positive light for our team, but other people aren't necessarily taking it that way, and trying to like bring him down. But he, you know, being who he is and having such a strong like belief in what we do and where we can go, that he's going through all of these like trials and tribulations and hard training as an example for us.